Well, to unpack what's been happening in the first week of Trump's return to power, our international affairs editor Angela Diffley joins me now in the studio. Hi, Angela.
Hi.
Well, let's begin with Trump's policies on immigration then, because his so-called deportation operation is underway. But how is this unfolding exactly?
The White House has been making announcements, the number of arrests, the number of people who have been expelled or are on the way to expulsion. And criticism of this policy, it really falls into two camps. There are those who say this is merely, this is cruel, and that many of these people have lives here, they have children here. This is going to be a difficult thing to watch play out over the next few years. Many of these people have lives, have children, their neighbours, they contribute to their communities. That is a difficult thing to watch. Nevertheless, the Trump administration would point to the fact that it is naive simply to assume that amongst undocumented migrants crossing those borders, there are not some undesirables. There is sometimes a connection with drugs, and that the left have willfully ignored this for too long. That is one criticism of it. The other is that it is simply performative, that there's a lot of announcement, a lot of trumpeting of what's been going on, but that the reality will look quite different. And I think it's important to look at the genuine, concrete pushback against this and where it might or might not work. First of all, we've already seen a legal challenge to the birthright citizenship issue today. That was largely expected by the Trump administration. There will be legal challenges. It has to be said that since his last term in office, there are many more right-leaning judicial administrations than the first time around. That is one thing. There are other clear obstacles. Trump has declared a state of emergency, and that allows him to send the military down to that border, the Mexican border. But the military, by law in the United States, are not allowed to be involved in law enforcement. That is an issue where there will be problems. It should also be noted that this is going to have a big impact on the economy. There are an estimated 11 million undocumented migrants in the US. Very many of them, as I've just said, have jobs, particularly in areas like food processing and fruit picking, difficult, hard work. There could be a real impact on the economy if this goes ahead at too big a scale too quickly. So those are some of the issues where, we need to watch to see what this thing is going to look like and to what extent it will please Trump's own voters and worry those who have real concerns for undocumented migrants. This is a situation that very many other countries are facing as well. Another area where Trump might hope to see movement is getting asylum seekers coming through Mexico to process their asylum applications in Mexico. We saw that, we've seen that with France and Britain, these ideas of trying to move the processing. That requires the cooperation of the Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum. We'll see how that goes as well. It's a complicated business.
Indeed. And it's not obviously just Trump's stance on immigration that's been making waves. It's been a roller coaster of a first week back for Trump, to say the least. So paint us a picture of where we're at the moment.
I think what is interesting to look at is, we've had this avalanche of executive orders, declarations, speeches. We were expecting it, but it went above and beyond on everything, from immigration to climate change to tax to gender issues to absolutely everything. And it leaves, worth mentioning, newsrooms around the world with a dilemma. Already in 2016, when Trump came in, it was quite a phenomenon. The daily tweeting, now it's Truth Social. Does a newsroom react to every single thing Donald Trump says? To what extent are we beholden to the American agenda? That said, this is a worldwide phenomenon. Donald Trump has been democratically elected. His impact on the United States is going to have enormous implications right around the world. They are the news at the moment. So it is important to register quite the scale of the Trump phenomenon and how it resonates around the world. If you look at within the United States, I think it is interesting to look at pushback or lack of it. For example, we will see some legal challenges. But if you look at the, there was a women's march on the day of his inauguration in 2016. Pushback, opposition to Trump has been almost unnoticeable in this first week. First of all, the Republicans are now pretty much entirely in line with Trump's point of view. We did see some concern around January the 6th. Some of those January the 6th people who were pardoned by Trump have already started to say that they will seek revenge. That's very worrying. A lot of cowering Republican senators were in the Capitol on January the 6th in 2021 when that happened. They must feel pretty uncomfortable around that. But otherwise, if you look at the left, they are leaderless. They are exhausted. And they have to accept that Donald Trump won a popular majority of the vote. Not a huge popular majority, but considering that he was a convicted felon and had spoken so openly and carelessly about so many issues around women, for example, he still comfortably won on every measure. He controls he controls Congress, he controls Senate, and the Supreme Court is to the right as well. And so on the left, there are people saying, we have to accept it, we have to face facts, we must stop denying things, we have to accept what's happened, we have to adjust and switch to the right. There are others who are saying we need to define ourselves against this, we need to switch further to the left. And their biggest, I think the area to watch will be when we looked at that inauguration audience, the tech bosses, the amount of money and power concentrated in that room. The left are likely to concentrate on that optic and push forward the idea that Donald Trump is only about the big guys with money and power, and you got it wrong if you thought he was about the little guy.
Angela Diffley, our international affairs editor, thank you very much indeed, as always.